to be speaking today, I want to introduce you guys to Zoya. She is the reason why we're all here. So I want you to bring your energy, move around, side by side, and let me introduce you to our wonderful Zoya.
Good morning, everybody. You may be seated. All right. Thank you so much for coming. Honestly, and thank you, Victoria, for introducing me. Thank you, everybody, for waking up early. Honestly, I can't believe I've been a part of BNI for less than 5 months because it's really become like a family, and I feel so supported and mentored by everybody here. So thank you so much. And visitors, if you join, you're going to get a very similar experience because this is a great group of people. All right, so I'm Zoya Mahajan. I'm the Director of Business Development for Cobalt Settlements. And before I sort of dive into what Cobalt is, I'm going to sort of get into why I do what I do. So a little bit about me, this is my why. You know, there's people and experiences that make me who I am, and obviously the things that get me through life are going to be my family. That's my parents. There's my boyfriend, he's adorable. And then I have my pets over here. That's Mochi, Chai, Noodle. They're all named after food because they're scrumptious. And I've had a lot of life experiences that honestly have all been about service. So that's been the number one thing to me, is to learn how to serve. So it started, ever since I was born in India and immigrated to the US, I've noticed that there's just gaps in the way that people serve. And so I went to Virginia Tech. I'm a proud Hokie. And the motto over there is Ut Prosum, which is that I may serve. So I was inspired there to go ahead and start a nonprofit in Peru. When I graduated college, I became a nurse for Alzheimer's and dementia patients and was an EMT. And all of that inspired me to go active duty into the Air Force and serve as a flight medic for 5 years. So I understand you getting out of the military. I actually found my job through a BNI, so really connect with everybody here. And honestly, I was really excited to get out because I was active duty for 5 years, moving around, and I didn't have a permanent address. And so I was very excited to buy a condo near my family and use the VA loan. And for what I thought was going to be a really exciting process, I noticed that there was a lack of responsiveness, education, and advocacy. And I had a very tough time. So I realized others were dealing with that. And it was very important to me to bring knowledge and people who care into the industry, which is why I'm here. So let's get a little into a title. I'm going to start off with a rhetorical question. So would you ever invest your life savings into a house without actually confirming who owns it? You know, at this point, you're just hoping that there's no undisclosed heirs, that nothing pops up over time, there's no unpaid debts, and that there's no other claims waiting to surface. You're honestly just trusting in people. And is that really smart? You know, it's not. So luckily, you don't have to worry about this because there is an entire record of everything that's ever been out there. So we live in a society that has detailed written records of every real estate transaction that's ever occurred. So there's everything from the local registry of deeds to probate filings to court judgments, bankruptcies, and IRS liens. So all of these can impact who actually owns the property, and it can affect you in the long term. If you know how to search and interpret these records, you'll be fine and you don't have to rely on luck. So it's very important to make sure that the property you're buying is actually yours, and that's where title comes in. So here is a plat. So this is actually a detailed review of exactly who owns the property and where all of the boundaries are. Without looking at this, which you can see it's super specific, you don't actually know what you're buying. So you could buy a house and think that that driveway, that yard, that street access is yours. And it might not be. It might belong to your neighbor. It might actually belong to the city. And you have no idea because someone just said it was yours. Later when you try to build a pool, you can't. So when we look at these surveys, we make sure that they're accurate and that what you're buying is actually yours because people do lie. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. All right, so over here, title issues can go unnoticed for years and years. So things that can pop up that you don't ever think about. People can inherit a home. Maybe someone's dad died and they gave them a will, but that will was never properly recorded in court. It's not in the records. Nobody knows who actually owns it, even if you have that little paper in your house. Maybe there's an old deed that has a misspelled name, or it has something that was never signed correctly. Either way, it's not working in court. So these cause gaps in your chain of title, and that actually leaves room for people who commit fraud to come in because they see that there's issues in that chain of title. That can lead to lawsuits, and you're going to have to deal with them. So the whole point of title professionals is to dig deep through the public records and make sure that you're not dealing with any of this. It's not all paperwork either. There's a lot of other stuff that can come up. So there's, like I said, people lie. So there's unpaid taxes, old mortgages, old judgments. Those things actually attach to a property. They don't attach to the person. So when they sell their house to you, they're free and you're stuck. And so you need to make sure that you're not going to be stuck paying somebody else's debt. Title insurance is going to protect you and make sure that you don't have to deal with any of these hidden risks, because when somebody does knock on your door and say they own your property, you're the one that's going to have to pay, not the person before you. So let's make this, my goal is to make title sexy. So let's bring in Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, because they care about title, and there's no title in space. This is a video actually from Jupiter Ascending about how hard it is to get title.
This is the authentic recurrence of her ladyship, the Abrasic sovereign, and we have come to claim her title.
You need to file an inheritance petition.
Can we all hear?
Title is held, you need to transfer a title.
Thank you.
File a quitclaim through Central Services, Section 918. Next.
You need a title survey. Geneprint identification for Wilson Trusts.
It is that complicated, and people are trying to do it all by themselves. Like idiots, to be nice.
Number from a revenue review.
This is revenue request, not revenue review.
This is a real situation that happens.
We can't get the title without the tax ID.
So what you just saw, it's not that far from what a title company goes through every single day. But luckily, Cobalt has 2 lawyers. He's sitting right there, he's in a sharp suit. 2 lawyers and people with experience who can help get you through this sort of thing. So let's get into what we actually do. Honestly, there's a lot to go through. So what we'll do is navigate the complex land records, so you don't have to look at those plats, you don't have to look at all those deeds and wills. Make sure you're good to go. We'll verify that the ownership is actually yours and that the property is yours. If there are any past debts, we'll protect you from those, and we'll also work with lenders to make sure that your financing is finalized correctly. And finally, to transfer the ownership, which can happen in any instance, really will help prepare and record those legal documents so that you're all good to go. So really, all you need is a trusted partner that knows how to do all this stuff, and will take care of all that for you. But just doing a tax survey, just doing like a title search, that's not enough, because in the end, all you're really looking at is a land records, which is a repository of millions of documents. We're really good at doing that, so are a lot of title companies, but what doesn't come up in that, because it's a manual review, is things that come up in the future, people that commit fraud, people that never put documents into the court system. We can't find those things if they're not in there. So when this stuff comes up later and someone challenges ownership, you're gonna have to go to court, and that is very expensive. That can ruin your life. Quite literally, it will ruin your life. So title insurance, what it is, it's a one-time fee, and you pay it at the time of closing, or if you need to transfer, you can do it later. But that fee will protect you, and if you transfer it to your kids, it'll protect them for that entire lifetime of the property. And if something does come up, it'll cover everything from legal fees, litigation costs, fixing the title defects. It'll fix all of those things. And otherwise, you're gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole, and you're gonna wish you called me and Jeff. All right, so who cares about you? We do. This is the Cobalt crew. So Jeff has been an attorney in MBA for over 25 years. So he worked with the bigger companies, and he noticed that when you're so volume oriented, the first thing that takes a hit is customer service. You can't possibly be everything to everybody and give everybody the same level of service if you're doing 50 closings a week. So he wanted a boutique firm. We've got over 100 years of collective experience here, and we work closely with all of our clients to make sure that they have business acumen lacked by legal expertise, and we help with residential and commercial title in both Virginia, all 3, Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So we can be your closing guide. And so as we all know here, there's a ton of competition living in the DMV, especially in home services, real estate. There's a million companies that you could go to. So why would you go to Cobalt? One of the things is the fact that Jeff broke away about 11 years ago to do his own thing because he thought he could do it better. And he is, if you look online at our reviews. So what sets us apart, we're not a commodity. So we realize that customer service is personal. We make sure that every single person is treated a different way and that it's relationship driven. It's what they actually need. We prioritize customer service over volume because we are not a volume title producer. We want to make sure that we take care of our clients. We charge fair, transparent fees for our high value work. We're not a discount company. We do really good work and we want to make sure that we charge you fairly for it. If you compare our prices, they're better and we do a better job. So that's just how it is. We're not financially tied to any brokerage. So any referrals we get are because we do a good job, not because we participate in some kind of profit sharing. And then finally, we adapt to how you work, not the other way around. So, we have Qualia, we have all of these advanced portals to help streamline the process. But if you're older, if you're not comfortable with technology, we can always work around it and do things that work for you, because in the end, it needs to be what you're comfortable with. That's what sets us apart. And then finally, this is BNI, so it's all about referring. Referring is important because in the end, the people you refer, it's really a reflection of you and your character and your standard. So we want realtors and loan officers in Virginia, Maryland, and DC, especially those who value communication, proactive service, and seamless closings, not just that things get done and the bottom line. We care about buyers and sellers that don't have agents, especially those that are first-time home buyers. I was a first-time home buyer. I had a horrible time, people trying to take advantage of the situation, and also people that are active duty and veterans, because they really need good resources to make sure they're not taken advantage of. I'll talk to you. Any clients that are changing title due to life events, people don't think about this, but things like marriage, divorce, death, estate planning, or adding or removing people to title, all of those things you need a title company for. Trusted advisors. So for that, people like that would be financial planners, CPAs, estate planning and family law attorneys, and anyone that has clients that need to clarify or change their ownership. And finally, referral partners who take their reputation seriously, because honestly, we are a direct extension of your client experience. We want to make sure they had a good time with you, they appreciated your work, that they don't have a bad time with us, and that overall their entire process is great. We take that responsibility very seriously. So in the end, everybody, when you close with Cobalt, you close with confidence. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and learn. It means the world to share. And I hope you enjoyed the sweet treats, because just like closing with Cobalt will be sweet with these sweet treats. So let's stay connected and go along.
One or two questions for her while we transition our presentation. Go ahead, questions? Anybody has a question?
How could you possibly? I talk so much.
I know what you do. It basically is examining title before purchase and so on and so forth. Are any title policies providing protections these days against future title theft?
Great question, Lou. So there's actually two main policies. There's the basic standard one and there's the enhanced policy. So the basic standard one will protect you from anything that might come up in the past, which can happen if something wasn't recorded correctly. But the enhanced policy will actually protect you against future claims in case fraud comes up or something like that. Am I right, Jeff?
Correct, yeah.
I studied, truly. All right, anything else? In the back?
I've never heard of the title insurance and protecting you from stuff like that. My first thought was, what if Cobalt sells or closes their business? Are you no longer protected?
That's a great question. So we actually do all of our title insurance through a national underwriter called Fidelity F&F, and that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So even if Cobalt closed, which it won't, because if Jeff quits, I'll take over. It's like, don't quit, Jeff. But even if that happens, you'll be safe, and it's for the entire life of your property. If you pass them on to your kids, they're protected too. So you're all set. Literally, you pay once. It's usually somewhere between $2,000 to $6,000, depending on the price of your house, and you're literally set for life.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, thank you.